It's a slightly cloudy day in 1989. The world isn't ready for these two words to be revealed. That's right, The Simpsons. I know, what a serious tone to kind of lead into one of the greatest comedy animated shows in history. First things first. You know what? Background, a little different angle today. I'm also using my phone. I just couldn't deal with how...
Could you try again?
Siri heard me too. I just couldn't deal with how my camera seemed out of focus in my other videos, so we're gonna try this and see how it goes. I don't know. Okay, back on topic here. So with The Simpsons being released, it took TVs by storm all across the world. I remember as a kid, I didn't want to miss a single episode. The story building, the characters, everything was relatable and everything was hilarious. With a staff of some of the greatest comedy writers, Conan O'Brien, one of my favorite comedy writers of all time, being at the forefront of taking this show all the way to the top. And when a show rises to the top, there's going to be other things that come along with it, whether it's merchandise or video games. Now, there's been a lot of Simpsons video games, but the one that we're focusing on today, Simpsons Hit and Run. Now, this is critically acclaimed as the greatest Simpsons game of all time, maybe even the greatest TV show adoption of all time. I remember it fondly. I wasn't really allowed to play GTA as a young kid, but I could play Hit and Run, so I was in one of my favorite universes playing a game that felt like GTA. Pretty cool. My parents didn't know how closely related it was to GTA, but that's fine. I'm a big grown-up boy now. But was it really that good? Was the story mode as memorable as it seemed as a kid? Or has it aged like Mr. Burns?
Smithers, are they booing me?
No, they're saying boo earns. Boo earns.
I guess there's only one thing we can do, and that's look into how it's aged. Now, I want to take a little bit different of a structure here compared to my Diddy Kong Racing video. If you haven't watched that, you should go watch that. I'm not going to really go in chronological order here. I'm going to kind of break the game down in different aspects. The first one that I want to talk about is the level design. Now, this is where Hit and Run excels. Like, it's insane. The game is broken up into 3 different levels. So you have your main Springfield with Evergreen Terrace.
This is so sick. Do this. I'm a law-abiding citizen.
You can actually go inside of the Simpsons house, in Bart's room, and see all of these references built into these levels. These levels are pretty expansive for the time. They give you a feel of an open world, while still being split into these individual levels with their own individual missions. They're a lot of fun to explore, and it's really easy to immerse yourself. You literally feel like you're a member of society within Springfield.
Treehouse, you can just keep exploring. Or you can play the missions. This is so ahead of its time, I feel like.
The one thing is, some of the AI repeats the same line, like, over and over again. The thing is, some of the AI repeats the same line, like, over and over again.
The same thing is, one of the same thing lines is the AI repeats.
It was a horrible joke. It's a horrible joke. But it can be kind of annoying. Like, I really wanted to mute the game at points. And I don't know, there's not that many character models, but you can just be driving around the world and you'll see like Lenny and Carl.
Hey, Homer, how about a breakfast churro?
No time. Tell me where to find Mr. Smithers.
Yeah, I think I saw him at the Quickie Mart. More breakfast
You're in the way,
churros
boss.
for Lenny.
All of the most memorable characters from the show you can find within these worlds. So the level design, it's the shining light within Hit and Run. The second part that I want to talk about here is character design. We have a template for the characters. The show's been around for quite a few years at this point, so Hit and Run knew what it had to do. The character design in the cutscenes is weird, to say the least.
All coming back to me now.
I remember there was a Simpsons episode where they went into 3D or whatever, and the cutscenes look great. Honestly, they could have just done 2D cutscenes like the TV show, and it would have been way better. But the cutscenes are so strange looking.
Kind of truck/dinosaur. I never would have guessed.
I didn't really like them that much. I much preferred how the character models looked in-game. Now, in-game, all of your characters have different movements, different attacks, different punch lines or whatever, even though, once again, they repeat themselves. Each character has about 3 lines they'll say over and over again. If you're going to play this back, find a good soundtrack or mute the characters' voices, because redundancy, I'll tell you that much. But even when you stumble upon the citizens of Springfield throughout these worlds that you're going to be exploring, everybody looks just like their TV show counterpoint. They walk the same, act the same, and all of these interactions really cater well to how the characters were written in the TV show.
See, Montgomery Burns, I know you're guilty. Accused! Sir?
Fine, I admit it. I had Amelia Earhart's plane shot down. That hussy was getting too big for her jodhpurs.
No.
So there's a lot of direct correlation. It's not a TV show adoption that feels completely separate from The Simpsons. It feels like you could have been watching an episode of The Simpsons and then it cut to some of these scenes within the game and it would have fit like a glove. Like 2 gloves on my hands, it would have fit perfectly. And I love the character designs here. They're so fun, and to go with the character designs, you have outfits that you can buy, references, of course, to different episodes of The Simpsons, and every single vehicle is unique to these characters you're going to play as well. Each level, you play a different character, and they have vehicles that are direct references to the show, like with Homer and Mr. Plow, Barney and the Plow King. You also have Bart with his rocket ship, and Lisa with a Malibu Stacy Mobile, which is my favorite car in the game, honestly. And then Marge has her classic Canyon Arrow, you know. So the character design and everything that goes along with these characters is executed perfectly. So the last little section about this game that I want to talk about here is the story mode. All I gotta say to start this off is, the story mode is, it's okay. It's broken up into 7 individual days. So all these events happen in these 7 days, and each cutscene in between has like a newspaper that describes what happened in the day or within that level. Each level is also separated into 7 missions. So the first level, you play as Homer on October the 25th. It introduces you kind of into the storyline here.
Hey, I'm endorsing a new cola, kids. And this one isn't poisonous to anybody.
That other unexplained news, strange black vans have been appearing all over town.
Marge, that black van is spying on us.
Oh, homie, you're so sexy when you're paranoid.
So Homer gets suspicious after a news report of the black surveillance vans going around Springfield, and you start off with the mission of following one.
Sir?
And you're going to follow a lot of things throughout the story mode here of Hit and Run. So this leads Homer to Mr. Burns' mansion, so he thinks Mr. Burns is the reason for this. Everyone's spying on him. So you go through that, pretty basic. You have to actually explode Smithers' car.
Take that!
Bam!
Sure, I have puppies in this car.
Who do I beat?
My convertible.
Just blow up Mr. Smithers. That's out of control here.
And run over a lot of pedestrians while doing that. And then you move on to the next day, October 26th. This is where you get to play as Bart. You're thinking, oh man, this is so sick. I just played a whole level as Homer, did some pretty fun missions throughout Springfield. Now I'm in a whole new part of the city with a whole new character and a whole new vehicle. Except all of the missions are the exact same thing. You're either following somebody, you're either exploding a surveillance van, whatever it might be, or you're bumping into a truck and collecting the items that fall out of it. Literally every single level, the missions are the exact same. It hurts because they can take a little bit to finish, and you just have to do the exact same thing over and over again with the repetitive lines, and there's no checkpoints throughout either.
I remember these being here before.
Yeah, we love it, baby. Let's go.
You are.
Get ready to get the cops on here.
What? You're all mine.
Time limit.
Bingo!
So tight. Like, there's literally no way. There's no. It's. What? That shit's impossible. That's actually impossible. Bro.
Boring.
No way, man. I took all the shortcuts. Yo. Oh.
You literally fail, and you have to do the whole thing again. You could be right at the end of a 10-minute mission and have to do it all again. But aliens and Buzz Cola, they're the main antagonists for this show.
Go mad.
Or game. So the next you play as Lisa, and you do all the same missions again. It's a cool world, though. This one's kind of from the episode of The Beach, but we get more references, but the exact same gameplay and missions, and you just pretty much have to try to save Bart, and then you get to move on to the next world, which is with Marge. So Marge has to investigate why Bart's crazy. He was abducted by aliens. That's why he's crazy. Then the last 2 days, you play as Bart again. Bart has to make Krusty believe him and not allow them to sell lasers to, I don't know. Once again, I was clicking away at A because I could not stand what was happening.
The second
No
last
problemo.
level. And look at one of my missions. Guess what I have to do?
Guess what I have to do?
Get in my car. And I have to hit another car to make them empty things that I can collect. What are the odds? Oh my gosh, he's gone. Oh yeah, time me to get to a place. Favorite part as well.
Oh,
That
man,
makes
sucks,
sense.
Andrew.
That made so much sense for that guy to do. Made a lot of sense. Please.
Man,
Yes.
this sucks.
How far away do I have to go?
Oh, man, this sucks.
And we get to our last day, October the 31st, during Halloween, where Springfield actually looks completely different. This part was really cool. Everything leading up to it, not totally worth it, but this part was super cool. The whole world has changed. All of the NPCs are now like skeletons or zombies. All the vehicles in the world are actually different, but the missions are pretty much the exact same, except for one different one where you have to deliver, plutonium to explode the alien spaceship. That one is annoying and frustrating. You have to drive really carefully and really fast. It's not fun. But of course, the aliens, we explode their spaceship and everything can go back to normal in Springfield. Woo. So the story mode was so underwhelming. I would rather this just be like a Springfield simulator, honestly. The best part of this game is just exploring the expansive levels that they have available for you. If you want to do that, do it, because it's so freaking fun, man. Like going through these worlds as these characters in these vehicles, all directly referencing the show that you love as a Simpsons fan. It's 10 out of 10. Now, if we bring the story mode and the mission structure into things, 6 out of 10. That many points taken off of my score. I don't know why I'm doing a point structure now, but whatever. If you have multiple days to just kind of relax and play through this game, I think you'll really love it. You'll enjoy every second. But if you take your Saturday like I do and play through the whole game, you're going to want to tear out all of your hair until your head looks just like Homer. Thankfully, I didn't do that. But if we come down to saying exactly how Hit and Run aged, level design, character design has aged great. 10 Millhouses out of 10 Millhouses. But if we want to just give an overall score by bringing the story mode in, it's aged. No, not great, honestly. Thank you for watching another episode. This one was kind of sporadic, but I wanted to try out a different structure, so I don't know. I'm still learning, it's like, video 5 for me? Give me a break. But thank you once again for watching, and you know how they say, keep aging. Oh!